Hi, welcome to Mindfulness and Emotional Wellness, and I'm Julie D. Thanks for joining me this morning. And we're going to do a few breathing exercises today, and then also some ideas about how you could integrate and put more mindfulness throughout your day. And one of the reasons we practice mindfulness is oftentimes in our life, we're on autopilot. And what we have a tendency to focus our mind on is either what happened in the past, yesterday, last week, 30 years ago, or we worry about or are anxious about what's going to happen in the future, whether that's at lunch today, whether that's a week from now, whether that's 20 years from now. And with mindfulness, it allows us to be in the present moment here and now, and really, the present moment here and now is our life. This is all we have. We can't change what happened in the past. There's nothing we can do to change that. And so, really, by focusing on the present moment, we're able to be more fully present in our life. And by practicing mindfulness, we're usually more content and happy and have higher quality relationships in our lives. And I want you to think about for a minute, how can mindfulness impact the quality of relationships in your life? So let me give you two scenarios. I want you to think about that you're spending time with a loved one. That could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a significant other. And you're just really both enjoying the moment. Perhaps you're watching something that's funny or uplifting, or you're going for a walk and you're talking and you're just fully engaged in the moment with that person. I really want you to take a few moments to picture that in your head, being fully engaged in the moment, using mindfulness to make sure that you stay engaged, that you don't go on autopilot, that you don't start focusing on in your mind a to-do list or worrying about things that may or may never happen, that you're just fully engaged in the moment. If you're on a walk, you can hear birds or animals. You can feel the wind on your skin. If it's Western New York in January, usually it is snowing, and you can feel the soft snowflakes a little bit cold as they hit your face. And you're just really engaged and listening and participating in the conversation with the person you're on the walk with. Just take a few moments to imagine that. How would you feel in that moment? How connected do you feel towards your loved one in those moments when you're fully present? Now let's take a few minutes and think about that same situation with a loved one and yourself. And perhaps you're on a walk or you're watching TV, whatever you're doing, whatever we imagined in the first scenario. And in this scenario, your loved one has their phone out and you're talking and experiencing, and they get a ding or a vibration, and they pick up the phone and say, "Oh, just no, 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 hold that thought just one sec. I just have to make sure this isn't important." Or, "Oh, you know what? I'm waiting for an important phone call. I'll be quick though. If it's a call that's so important to me, I'll be real quick though." And I want you to think about how that interaction would have you feel. How did it feel when I said to you and you imagined it was your loved one saying, "I'm waiting on an important call or text or whatever"? but you're important too. So I'll be real quick about it. I think we feel a little bit disconnected, devalued, perhaps even maybe a little bit unimportant, or not as important as whomever may be texting this critical life-changing information. And using mindfulness and staying in the moment would mean putting our phones away or not even bringing them when you go for a walk, and really being fully present in that moment. So that's a little exercise, little something to get you thinking about how mindfulness can improve your relationships with your loved ones, coworkers, neighbors, in order to be fully present in the moment instead of distracted. So let's just practice some breathing, because that helps us stay in the moment. And so what we're just going to simply do is do a few deep breaths through our nose, hold it for a moment, and then exhale through your mouth. And just follow your breath. And what I mean by follow your breath is just focus on your breathing. Focus on feeling the cool air enter your nose, and you'll feel it at the back of your mouth usually. And then you can feel it sort of go down your throat. And then what you should see or feel rather is your lungs and also your belly expanding as you're getting a good deep breath. And then hold it and then exhale through your mouth. And so when you're inhaling, your belly should kind of blow up a bit like a balloon. And when you're exhaling, it should kind of deflate like we're letting the air out of a balloon. So let's just do 3 or 4 long, deep breaths, trying to focus on the breath. Okay, we'll get started now. And the last time. So that's just focusing on the breath and doing mindful breathing. It helps us keep us in the present moment where we are right now, and not in the past and not in the future. So breathing is the easiest way to do that. About a week ago on this, we talked about every time we got a little ding or a text or call on our phone, we made the intention that what we would do is take 2 deep breaths before we answer or respond. I don't know how well you did, but for me, I fell a bit short. And again, think about how I phrased that. I didn't say I failed. I didn't say that there's something inherently wrong with me. I simply said, I fell a bit short, using self-compassion to reword the thoughts we have in our head is helpful. And it's a way that you can support your emotional wellness. Oftentimes in the past, if I failed or didn't accomplish my goal, I may have a thought that said, what's wrong with you? You're a loser. Why can't you get it together? You never get anything right. And with self-compassion and mindfulness, it allows me the chance to take a pause and to reword what I'm telling myself. I simply fell short. I didn't accomplish what I had intended. However, today's a new day. I've thought about what I wanted to do, and I realized, well, I think I realized what happened and what I can do to help me meet my goal, which is I want to introduce and spend more time in the present, spend more time doing mindfulness in my day. So, using my device that we all have around us, typically 24/7, I programmed into my phone alarms throughout the day. And so during 8 to 5, I think I have 3 or 4 alarms. And the only purpose of that alarm is to go off and tell me, take a few deep breaths. Will a few deep breaths radically throughout the day change my life? I guess it's possible. But I think what it will do is help reinforce a habit that I want to create. I want to spend my day more time being mindful of the present moment. And an easy way for me to do that is to focus on my breath. So if I've scheduled 3 times to, at least during the day, follow my breath and focus on my breath, even if it's just for a few moments, I feel I'm much closer to my goal than I was if I didn't set those alarms. So if you're interested, I challenge you to also set alarms on your phone as a reminder to be present, to breathe, to be right here and now. Now let's go back to how we felt when we had the 2 scenarios. One where our loved one or coworker or whomever we imagined having the interaction with was fully present in the moment, was making eye contact with us, was clearly listening to what we were saying, giving verbal and nonverbal cues that that is where they want to be, and you are who they want to be with at that moment doing that activity. Usually, that makes us feel good, right? It makes us feel connected. When we thought about the same experience or activity, but with the person distracted, I know at least for me, I didn't feel fully engaged either from them. I didn't feel that they were fully engaged, and I didn't feel fully engaged because the minute somebody pulls out a phone and says, I just have to make sure this isn't important, I start thinking, maybe I should make sure I don't have an important text. Or what's the harm while they're checking for their text for me to send a quick email? And then pretty soon our walk has a lot of silence and a lot of this, which frankly isn't how I want to spend my time with the people I care about. So, what I would suggest or challenge you perhaps to see the next time you're spending some time with somebody that you really care about, to simply say at the beginning, hey, I've got a great idea. I heard this thing. I love spending time with you, but I often find that sometimes I'm distracted by my phone and technology, and I don't want to do that. I care about you and I care about our relationship, and I want to make sure you know that. So when we go on the walk today, I'm going to leave my phone at home. And then I would think the other person would say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll leave my phone too. And if the other person didn't say that, I might then say, I love spending time with you. I love being so connected and our relationship. I just want to, will you do me a favor? Can you just leave your phone home today and see if it changes anything during the walk or the TV show or the swim or whatever we're doing? Could you just leave your phone home and see what they have to say? Most people are going to say yes. Now, there's going to be an exception. Let's say my mother's very ill, and so I want to bring my phone because I have an exception. And I would bring my phone and I would explain at the beginning, my mother's very ill. That's why I have my phone. But I want you to know if it's not about my mother being ill in a serious situation about my mom, I'm not answering emails. I'm not going to take phone calls from people because I want to be right here with you, going for a walk and enjoying your company because I really cherish our time together. So I'm going to ask you to think about if that's something you're willing to do and see if it does improve your relationship. See if it does improve the feeling of connectedness you have to the people in your life. Also, I challenge you to think about setting some alarms in your phone that will say, aha, remember, you're here right now. Take a couple deep breaths. Just take a couple deep breaths. So I thank you for participating in today's activity. I'd like to end with a 4-7-8 breath, and we'll do it 3 times. And so what we'll do, if you're comfortable and if you're willing, you're going to breathe in for your nose for the count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and breathe out for a count of 8. Now, when we're doing activities and breathing exercises, our mind creates thoughts because that's what our mind does. It makes thoughts. That's okay. When we're doing the breathing and a thought comes in, what I'd ask you to do is kind of picture it as a butterfly. A butterfly flies in. Ah, there's a thought. And the butterfly flies away. Butterflies don't hang out for long. They're like in your sight. Aha, there's a butterfly. And then I don't know, they disappear. I don't know how fast they fly, but they're not around long. So when we're doing the breathing, if you do have a thought, notice, a thought, and let it fly away. Sometimes we get caught up in the thought and judging the thought, and sometimes we get caught up in judging that we had a thought. And when we're doing that, we're not in the present moment experiencing right now. So if you have a thought, there's a thought, and let it go. So if you will, again, I'll do the counting for us. We'll breathe in for 4 through your nose, hold for 7, and out for 8. If you want, when you're breathing in, you can imagine or picture that you're breathing in hope, positivity, love, light. And when you're holding it, you can imagine whatever you pictured when you were breathing in. For me, it's typically hope. I'm a big hope fan. And so I breathe in hope for 4. And then I imagine holding that hope close to my heart or my soul or my spirit, whatever you happen to believe in. And then when I exhale, I imagine stress leaving my body. It can be stress, it can be negativity, depression, anxiety. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in and I'll count for 4, hold for 7, and out for 8. And these are, the 7 and 8 are longer periods of time or moments. And if you can't get up to that long, that's okay. Do what you can. That's what it is. Do what you can. So we're going to go in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to ask you to take a few deep breaths, whatever your body's comfortable with, to kind of, I think of it kind of as resetting my system. That works for me, that thought. So just a few deep breaths. And now we're going to do the 4-7-8 breath twice. So we're going to go in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope it was helpful. And I look forward to hearing if you've decided to leave your phones at home when you're doing an activity with people you care about / coworkers. If you're interested, or if it was helpful to put some alarms in your phone so it goes off to remind you to breathe and be in the present moment. And I wish you a very happy and healthy 2021, and stay well.
Thank you.